Welcome to the Rooted Goddess podcast with your host, Leslie Sprague, where we talk all things wellness, woo-woo, life, and everything in between. As a small-town mom of two amazing kiddos, I understand the challenges of what it's like to stay grounded and go after your dreams. My goal for this podcast is to inspire you to root down so you can grow stronger, rise up, and let your light shine bright so you can be the goddess you are truly meant to be. Think of this as your one-stop shop. It's happy hour with a gal pal while getting truthful and heartfelt about taking the steps forward to living your best life. Welcome to the Rooted Goddess podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Sprague, and today I'm here to talk with my good friend Samantha Schaub about all the things. So, what would your town be if you were Miss World?
Even after you said this before we started recording, I couldn't think of anything. Let me see. My talent would be if I was Miss World. I think I'd like to be a singer.
Ooh, nice.
Mm-hmm. I don't have the best voice, but I love to sing as it is. And it actually has crossed my mind to do singing lessons. Would it go anywhere? Probably not, but it would be a lot of fun.
I hear ya. I love singing all the time, and my husband would be like, who sings this song? And if I happen to know it, he'd be like, how about you let them sing it?
Yeah, I always get that one too. You should keep your day job. Yeah, and it's so funny. I was actually, whenever I'm singing with my sister, she's like, we're just going to turn this up because we're not very good. And I'm like, okay, let's do that.
Oh, that's funny. I think I had one person tell me that my voice was actually pretty good, and one person, and now it's gone to my head.
Oh, my daughter did. My daughter told me, and I'm like, I feel like you're supposed to say that.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's too funny. Alrighty. So if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
You know what? I have to say I love where I am now. It is the only thing I would change is maybe a little bit warmer climate. I still love our seasons, but I love the small town feel that I have. I'm from a small town. Obviously, I wouldn't have a small town feel if I lived in a big city. But yeah, I love the fact that you can walk down the street and know the people walking down. They're not complete strangers, and even though you might not always talk to them, but it's just kind of that comfort feeling, if that makes sense. A lot of people hate small towns because everybody knows everybody's business, but
I moved to a small town, but I love it. Although I didn't grow up here, so I don't really know a whole lot of people. So it's just I can still stay to myself and get that small town feel.
Yeah. Okay. If you could have someone follow you around all the time, like a personal assistant, what would you have them do?
These are hard. That's challenging. Oh my God. Literally follow me around. I feel like I get that with my children and my dog.
Yeah, but they don't do things.
No, they don't listen at all. Tell them to go away and they just stay there.
Yeah, exactly.
What would I have them do? The only time I can think of when I would need a personal assistant with me at all times is when you're going shopping and you don't want to carry the bags anymore. It's here, you can take this.
Just rock star shopping.
But as for anything else, maybe in my later years when I want to be I I want to be like the next Rachel Hollis. I think that'd be really fucking cool. And I think at like that point, it's like, okay, well, we need to set up this meeting and like we need to go to this place and we need to do this. And I think at that point, but right now, maybe just for shopping.
Yeah. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, like a personal shopper. You could be the person that carries my bag so I can buy more.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, gosh.
Awesome.
I feel like now I have to pick a difficult question because I feel like I just keep getting all of them.
I'm sorry. Oh.
If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be and why?
One thing. I feel like you just had a brain buster moment there.
I had another question and I was like, damn, I should ask that one.
Well, we can still ask one more.
Okay.
Okay. I think for me it would be like a permanent tidy upper. Like as you know with children, like no, not even just like a maid. Like I just feel like the biggest problem in our household is like there's always mess everywhere. Like there's shit everywhere all the time. And like I can't even blame it all on the kids because like I create mess too. And so like my poor husband, he has to clean up after me and the children. So yeah, I think a permanent, like if tidying could just be like done for me all the time, that would be like my dream, I think.
Yeah. I think it's like permanently clean.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens when the children move out.
But
I don't know. I feel like with a man around still, it wouldn't always work out that way.
Yeah, I don't know that my husband would agree with that statement because, like,
You're the opposite.
yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness.
That's funny.
All right. So, what is your best "my coworkers are crazy" story? And by your coworkers, I'm referring to the children right now.
My children. Oh man, I feel like there's way too many to think of one.
Then just pick one from today.
Lately, they've just been fighting a lot. It's not even crazy. It's just like rage. And they fight over the silliest. Like, actually, my daughter is super dramatic. Super dramatic. To the point where it's like Jack will almost not even touch her. Actually, it happened the other day. Perfect crazy story, or over dramatic, one or the other. Jack was choking me. And I was like, okay, I think you're fine. She goes, no, there's red marks. And I was like, and the way she was saying it, I was trying so hard not to laugh. And I was like, honey, your neck is fine. Then she instantly starts bawling. It hurts so bad. I was like, oh my God, child. I was like, I think you're going to be fine. No, he choked me so bad, like just sobbing. I felt like the worst mother in the world at the same time, though, because I wanted to die of laughter because I can instantly tell that you're being so dramatic right now, and he hardly touched you.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah,
She did it again today, and I was like, okay, this is enough. It's time to move on. Like, you can tell when you have like a real cry and an I want attention cry.
Yep, that's for sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. I hear you on that.
God. Like Jack, he's just a little bit of a daredevil, so he just likes to climb on everything or topple over on everything or do anything that is going to wreak havoc or climb something. So I think more dramatic more than crazy around here. Drama.
Yeah, isn't it all one and the same though?
Yeah, probably.
All fits in that basket.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Alrighty. If you could choose any two famous people to have dinner with, who would they be?
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
saw last time, and I was like, oh, damn, we're asking this question.
You know what? Like that, I was thinking of tweaking that question too to like be like just any two people ever. Like you could just alive, dead. But I think one of them would be Gabrielle Bernstein. And who would the other one be? You know what? I think it would be like my higher level self.
That is so cool.
Because
That's so cool. I love that you picked that. I would have never thought of that.
Because like the insight that woman could just give me, like would just be like, well, I could probably like just get out of your own freaking way. Just stop it already.
Could you imagine that conversation with Gabby, you, and your higher level self?
Oh
my God, you walk away from there with like so much power. That'd be crazy. That is so good. Damn, that was good.
I like talking to her lately. I talk to my higher level self a lot because I need to get out of my own head.
Oh, 100%. I actually did like a post on that today when it comes to like your inner child and your outer child, which is like essentially like your ego.
Yep.
And the way that we have to like talk to them so differently. And you almost feel crazy sometimes, but at the same time, like you need to like set these like boundaries and these guidelines, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, because if I left everything to my own devices, like I wouldn't, like I need to step into this energy more, like, because my higher level self, she's been there, she's done that. So she has the guidance and the wisdom, and she doesn't have all the shit that I'm dealing with right now. Like,
You've been
just
through it, right?
getting out of my own way. Yeah.
Crazy that insight that could provide. I feel like I have no words right now. But yeah, and I think reminding ourselves to step into that person can be challenging too sometimes.
Yeah, because like it does kind of feel weird when you first start doing it. You kind of feel like you've gone a little cuckoo, but it's amazing the shift that you get when you do step into those shoes, and the insight that you get. Like I love to explain it that it's like a turning into like your radio channel. You just tune into that vibration or that frequency on your dial, and you get in there.
I think what's crazy too is like if you're journaling from that standpoint, like the amount of like limiting beliefs that come up that you're instantly able to like overcome in like split seconds, because it's like, why would you even ever think that way, right? Like these thoughts shouldn't even be there. They shouldn't even exist.
Yeah. I was working through, like a prime example of that, like I was working through, like I was kind of feeling that there was something around self-worth that was coming up for me. And it was definitely like, as you know, like how you do anything, it affects everything. So I was like, I've got 3 main goals. Like one's my business, and the other one is like my health. I want to get back, not that I'm unhealthy, but I just want to exercise more, feel better more, like just that kind of thing. So I call that like my hot body, even though it's got nothing to do with the body.
Hey, whatever works. Yeah.
So like it helps me tap into it, that feeling a little bit better, right? So I'm like, what's going on? What would it feel like if I felt worthy of that? And it came like, I think the question or the answer was, I would feel value in myself. And I was instantly moved to tears. I was like, holy fuck, like I don't value myself. And it was just crazy that just writing those words out, instant flip switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think why so many people are like scared to almost sit with themselves or like get into this like personal development space, because like you really have to look at yourself and be like, okay, where have I been like self-sabotaging, and like where can I do better?
Mm-hmm.
And I know for me, like when I was first going through it, I was still in denial about it, especially because like at the beginning of all of this, I was still kind of going like still kind of fresh through a separation. So I was like placing all the blame. And as I got like deeper and deeper and, you know, years started spacing out, I was like, holy shit, like the part I played and like the person I was not very nice. And like taking on that realization of like where you could be doing better in so many different aspects, it's emotional. It's really emotional.
Yeah, and like it's funny. Like I don't like conflict, so I tend to avoid things. But at the same time, I know that I always play a part in things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I try and look at, okay, what could I be doing differently in this situation? Like how am I, like I try and look at myself first.
Yeah.
Because once you deal with yourself, it can easily shift the energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I'm like perfect by any means. I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
But
it definitely takes like practice, a lot of practice for sure.
yeah, like it's crazy how we can, once we realize the part we played in, or like you said, the part that we are playing, and then take a step back from that and look at how it affects, or look at it from the other person's perspective.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's
I was always the reactor, and I still catch myself sometimes where I'm like, go to react before I actually like step back and be like, okay, like, is this going to produce the outcome that I want? Is this the type of person that I want to be? Is this who I've grown into? Because I'm not going to lie, when like my younger self was very, very passive aggressive, and she was very much an asshole. And as I like grew up and started to be on this journey and like realize that I had not that I had the intention to be that way. It was just like my inner child and my inner self was so wounded and so hurt by so many things that like basically like a giant fuck you to anybody else. So having to like, yeah, to take that step back and take that ownership, it takes a lot of effort and work, but after you go through it, like I could never imagine, like just looking back on who I was even like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, what were you thinking? Who the hell do you think you are?
It's hard to like remind, like, well, both you and I are coaches, right? So like it's easy to like point that out for other people, but when you're dealing with yourself and trying to work through those things, it is so much trickier, like to to try and pull back.
For sure.
Yeah. It's just crazy. And when we stem it back to like trying to find the root of where things come from, like, man.
Well, and I don't know about in your case, but I know at least in my case and like other people I've talked to, like most times it's our childhood. And like I had a good childhood. It's just there's certain parts that get triggered and you don't realize it until like many years later. And now I catch myself sometimes like the way I react to the kids, and I'm like, holy fuck, like I really hope that, well, the way I look at it too is no matter, you can't get parenting perfectly right. Like we're going to scar our children in one way or another, but it's like trying to shield them from that trauma too. But at the same time, like we really can't. But when I see myself acting the way like my inner self hated when I was younger, and I'm like, oh shit, like it comes all the way back from childhood, and we forget about it because we're so young and our minds develop and we don't think much of it, right? And it's just like, well, this is just, I am who I am, when in reality it's, no, you were conditioned that way by either society or your family life, right? Or generations. Like it comes down through generations sometimes without people ever realizing what the root problem or what the hell is going on.
Yeah. You have no idea how many times that like I will think to myself, I'm fucking my children up. Like
yeah. Yeah, it's like a daily thought.
And because like you think of it and then it's like, oh, like in the moment I'm like but you can't control the way it's going. It's like that is one of my biggest struggles right now, is like trying to shift my, because I've had a lot of stress the last couple years, and like trying to let go of that instant like freak out reaction that I have, and not have that on them, like it. But at the same time, I also know that it's part of their journey. They're experiencing this because it's part of their story. Yeah. And they have their own legacy to create and live through. And yeah.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, like I don't want to like fuck them up just so that they can have their own story.
I'm gonna purposely fuck you up so you got a good story when you're older.
Oh. But at the same time, like, I totally get what you're saying. Like, I had a good childhood too, but there are those things that trigger for sure.
Yeah. And if we don't, like, it's funny now because when it happens, like, I instantly will go back to my inner child and I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? And why is this surfacing now? Like, it's funny what happens once we really take the intention to be aware of it, which I think is really strange. But yeah, I have that same thought often, especially like, I don't know how you're doing through all of this, but me, some days they're so good. And other days I'm like, I'm going to kill you. Like, yeah. I don't know if I can be saying this out loud, but like, you need to stop because there's a lock on the outside of the door and I don't know if you'll get back in. No, like for the most part, they're good. But when they're fighting with each other or antagonizing each other, like Jack, he's 2.5, he's going to be 3. And he realized that the bathroom door, you can unlock it with a butter knife. And he is so like, I wouldn't say needy, but
I hear you.
Like he attached to everybody. Like he's such I don't know. He's just a Klingon really. And for the while, like Isabella used to get really angry and be like, don't come into the bathroom when I'm going to the bathroom. And now to antagonize it so that I get him and shit, she'll go, I'm going to the bathroom now. And then she'll run off. And I'm like, oh, you little shit. And then he chases after her, tries to get in. And then there's a fight at the bathroom door. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
And no matter how many times you try to get them to understand, or when she screams at him, I'm like, he's not registering you. You can scream, he's blue in the face, and he's not going to hear a word you're saying. Oh my God.
Yeah, I totally hear you with that. Like, because I have an older daughter, and like she's 8, and Deacon's going to be 5. Like he was so whiny this morning. They sound very similar, the boys, because like he is very needy too. Like he comes up
boy thing.
Yeah, like and he's so much like, I love it because he loves to snuggle so much more than she does. But he comes upstairs and he's like, Mom, nobody's downstairs with me. And I'm like, and you're gonna be 5 like in a few days? Like, it's not like I'm on the other road or something. Like
they need to be like attached. That's what I've noticed through all of this anyways, is like I sit down and Jack will move from where he is to sit almost on top of me. And I'm like, child, you need to move over. No, mommy. I'm like, I love you, but move over.
Well, and even if I'm like snuggling Reagan or something, he will come and like get right in the middle. And
Yeah.
he even says, he's like, I need to be with a parent. It's like, no, you don't.
No, they just want the attention.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm starting to think it's a boy thing. Every time I see it, it's like, especially like on social media with everybody sharing like being at home with their kids, and it's like the boys are always the more like needier ones.
Yeah.
Always. And I love it. I love it. But it just helps me put into perspective certain things I've seen when they get older. That's all.
Yes. Yes, yes.
And then it's like, I want you to be a good man when you grow up. But at the same time, like, I want you to know how to give a woman her space.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're trying to raise them. Like, the way I try and raise the kids, I was like, okay, what are you going to develop into?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, remembering that they are children and they're allowed to act as children, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or just trying to get them to tidy, because like or like even doing things around that house. I mean, they're 8 and 5, but you also have to realize that there are things that you're going to have to do when you're older, and you can't, like, you need to learn how to do these things. And I'm not your damn maid. So
yeah.
like, I'll say to them, I'm like, does it say maid or server or cook right across my forehead? And my daughter, she's a sass. She says, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic too. Did she try to mother your son?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, like, sometimes it's helpful.
Yes.
Because yeah, because that's like, oh, perfect. You're taking care of him. I can focus back on.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. So here we are talking about our children, and we're
lost in the craziness that is children.
Oh goodness, we both are like similar, and we're talking about our children, and we want, but it all comes with it, right? Like, I think, and both of us are very much want to empower women to be themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, but like, I love my children to death, but they also don't define me.
Amen. Yes. No, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, like, so that's one of my biggest passions, is to like help moms figure out who they are, again, because quite often, like, we get tossed to the back burner and we don't take care of ourselves or go after our own dreams, and then by the time you, like, if you waited until your kids move out and all that stuff, you're that much more lost down the path, and you don't know, like, and then at that point you have another excuse, and you're like, well, it's too late to go after my dreams now.
Yeah, I had that conversation with my mom, actually, and she'll say that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's never too late, right? And I think that's what I try to tell people too. And I think that there's a weird different pressure that comes with moms over dads. And I don't know why, or maybe this is just in my experience. It's like, we're almost shamed if we want to do something more than just be a mother.
Yes.
Or if we put ourselves sometimes before being a mother.
Yeah. But in, like, from my point of view, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't be the best mother that you can be.
No.
You can't, like, to me, you have to do that first. You have to take care of you first.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like from a mental, emotional, physical side. You, like, putting aside the dreams, if you don't take care of you, like, you're just going to become burnt out and exhausted, and you, like, your fuse is that much shorter when you're not taking care of yourself. You snap that much quicker, and it's not fair to anybody in your household.
No, not at all. And I think too, with raising girls, it's showing them that they're allowed to be a woman, a mother, a business owner, or in the corporate world or whatever. They're allowed to be whatever the hell they want, regardless of what society says that they have to be or who they should be, right?
Yes.
I think it's so important to like be leading by example. And like that's a good example for, I think, both sons and daughters, that showing them that mommy can't, like, I wouldn't say superwoman, because then that puts unreal expectations on us again, but the fact that we can be moms and run a business, or be moms and be a woman who likes to have time by herself and not be
so guilty.
Yeah
to
the jungle gym.
Yes. And like it and I think a lot of times too, like with moms, it comes like you feel like you have the different hats. You have the mom hat, you're a daughter hat, you have the wife or girlfriend hat, you have the businesswoman or career hat, like, or you have a stay-at-home mom hat, and you have all the other to-dos to do. And you feel like you have to juggle all the hats, but really all the hats still make you you. And it's what makes you unique. So like when you take care of you, it's not that you have to feel like you have to compartmentalize all those parts of yourself. They all become one.
Oh, 100%. I think by nature, that's just who we are too, right? So we shouldn't have to juggle through them. It should just, I think some days it just comes naturally, sadly, but
yeah.
You just kind of go through the motions and figure it out. I lost my train of thought where I was going with that one.
Squirrel brain.
Oh my God, it happens far too often. You never get rid of the mom brain too. That's what I've realized. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yep.
That's where I was going to go. Is the way I like to explain it to some people is like, number one, I was not made to be a stay-at-home mom, and I used to have such shame in saying that, being like, I like to be a working mom and have them go to daycare or school. And now it's like, I have no problem saying that whatsoever. And the way I try to explain it to some people is like, people laugh at me when I say this, and some might take offense to it, but it's like, you have your mom, the one who like loves to do crafts and bakes and gets down on the floor and cuddles and crafts and does all these things, and it's great and it's fabulous. But then you have like your mom. That's me. Like I love being a mother, and I'm just a mom, I guess is not the proper term, but that's the way I say it. And it's like, I will play games with them, but I also like to do my work. And I also like to be doing other things and not baking with them 24/7 or glitter. I hate glitter. Oh my God.
Yes.
I will make up every excuse in the book to try and avoid getting the glitter out, let me tell you.
Mine is beads.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, like she gets those bracelet packs and then the beads are freaking all in the carpet and just everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I like to explain it is you have some people who are like moms and they love it. Like my cousin, oh my God, she makes up these like little party bags and she'll send them to like the school on the kid's birthday. And I'm like, dude, I don't even send cupcakes. I don't even send donuts. I don't send nothing when it's my kid's birthday. Hell, you'll be surprised if they're even in school on their birthday. I don't want to take them. Like, I don't do anything on my birthday. And if they want to go to school, cool. And if they want to stay home, cool. But you won't see me packaging up these little personalized gift bags for each child in their classroom. It ain't gonna happen.
I 100% agree with you. Although on their birthdays, I do send cupcakes.
Yeah, I think I just don't think of it.
I started it like it's kind of like a quote unquote tradition.
Okay.
But anytime my daughter asks me, like, Mom, can we do a craft? Oh, good Lord. Where is this taking me now? No, we can't do a craft.
The only time I usually get right in there is Lego. I love doing Lego. But yeah, so I think that we get too shamed on it sometimes, right? And just being open and honest, like you have the moms that want to say fuck it sometimes and we look like a total disaster and still rock it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, as long as they're loved and
that's all that matters. Yeah. I think we're in like 110% agreement here.
Back to our children all the time.
Damn it.
So how is it that your business helps like women or empower women or do that sort of thing?
So what I do is I help moms connect back to themselves. So I recently gained like some really good clarity around like my process, I guess. And I want to like, first off, the pillar is your body. So, and not like what you might like what people typically think when you think of the body. What I mean by the body is coming home to you. Your body will ground you, brings you to the present moment, and brings you to the here and now. Because most often people are worrying about the future or the past, and they're not enjoying the present moment. So like my main way to get people into the body is through yoga. And you know what, if yoga's not your thing, great. You would rather go for a run and that helps get you centered and present, perfect. Like, but for me, yoga is what I know, what I teach. And then getting into your heart. How do you want to feel? Because believe it or not, sister, you get to choose that. Mm-hmm. And like you said earlier, like it's a muscle and you have to constantly remind yourself to like focus and reshift. And then it comes up to the mind. And that's where like your fears and your doubts and your thought patterns and blocks and all those things come into play. Noticing those things, learning how to retrain or reframe those things. Yeah. And then the fourth pillar is your soul. So like talking about vibrations, stepping into your higher level self, your intuition, and like just making sure everything's in alignment so that you're not swimming upstream against the current of life. You're flowing with the current and things just work easier. And then it goes to the universe, so, or God, or whatever, the higher power, whatever you want to call it. And it is a big one is trust. Yeah. Trusting that you will be provided for, and then learning about the universal laws like manifestation and law of attraction, which essentially is manifestation in a sense. Yeah. But so those are like, that's how I help women get back to themselves so that they can like open up and in a sense begin to dream again, like, and connect to themselves so they can like go wherever they want to go in their life. So yeah,
I think it's crazy how many, well, I can't say it's crazy because I think I was one of these people also. It's like we forget that we have all these possibilities, right? Because we become a mom or we go through life and shit happens and then you feel like you're like stuck in this position and you can't get out. When if you decide to look at it in a different way or a different viewpoint, you can make it through. You know what I mean? Like you can make it work. There's always another way. I truly believe there's always another way. Like everything is figureoutable.
Yes. Have you read Marie Forleo's book?
No,
that's the title of her book. I've only made it halfway through But just immediately reminded me to like of her book when you said that.
Yeah.
And that, like, I believe that too. There has to be a better way for things to go. Like,
100%.
and there has to be an easier way. It isn't meant, life isn't meant to be a struggle.
I know. I used to really like struggle with that myself. I used to be like, I used to have a really bad time thinking about it because I used to just think, what the fuck is the point? Like, why am I here to go to a job that I'm not passionate about, to work most of the day, come home miserable or stressed out, go to bed, deal with the kids, and wake up and do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of doing that for the next 40 plus years of my life had me spooked. And every time I talked to my parents about it, and I'd be like, does that not bother you that you've done this all these years? And you both are like, my dad's not miserable in the job he is now, but he was for many, many years. And I'm like, does that not bug you? And they're like, well, there was no, like, they weren't taught to think of another way. And they're like, that's just what you do. And I was like, no, that is not what I will be doing. Not a freaking chance. Will you see me doing a job day in and day out that doesn't do something for me? You know what I mean? And I was on that path for that to be my life. And I'm just so happy that I found that there is a different way. There is other ways, and it gets to be exactly the way I want it to be.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of a perfect segue into like how you help women.
I like to, my biggest and my favorite thing, I like how you did that. That was sly.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna line up perfectly.
My most favorite thing I love to do is empower women, is to let them know that no matter what, they can achieve absolutely anything through their mindset. And I like to take a little bit more of I wouldn't say aggressive approach, but definitely more a blunt approach. That's just who I am. I'm very cut out the fluff and the bullshit. And I think because I go back to the way it happened for me, is there was a day I was in the middle of my separation, and one day I was driving, and I was like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sad. I am so sick and tired of being miserable and being sad all the goddamn time. And that was it. That's just, I wouldn't say that's when my mind shifted, because obviously we both know it takes a lot more work, but that was the starting point for me, where I was like, I am tired of being miserable in life every day. And I am tired of waking up and going through the same freaking emotions. You know what I mean? Like, at the time it was what was happening there. But when I really looked at the bigger picture, I was like, this has been happening my whole life. And if I don't do something about it, it's going to continue to happen that way. So I started with network marketing.
Same.
Yeah. I think that's just the way it goes, right? And I started with Arbonne, and I actually...
well, it wasn't... in one of my many ventures, that was... Anyway.
I still love it, but it's not... I purchase the products, people that I happen to get on it, they still purchase the products from time to time, but it's not something I focus on. You know what I mean? Like, I like to consume the product myself. I love it. If people ask what I'm using, I'll share, but it's not my avenue of focus. And I think the reason why is the numbers aspect got pushed down my throat so much. Like, you need to be hitting these numbers to get here and here and make this and do that. And I'm like, no, like, I don't like managing people like that in my day job. I'm not going to do that where I'm trying to build myself a freedom and a job on the side. Right. And that's actually where I ended up like hiring Brittany, is to help me figure out all of this and sort through it. And as I was working with her, I realized that I didn't want to be doing this at all. I wanted to be doing something on my own, and I wanted to be coaching women and letting them know that they can go through city situations and come out on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, they can be a single mom and still figure it out, and they can go through depression and still be happy at the end of it all and be able to figure it all out. And so it started off as life coaching and showing women that no matter what shit you go through, you can still get through on the other side. Is it going to take work? Of course. Mm-hmm. It's going to be uncomfortable. Even more so, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier, we don't like to look at that person in the mirror and be like, this is where I fucked up and this is where I could have done better. And then it's developed into business coaching, because as much as I love coaching women in their lives, I love showing women how they can be making money and not you know what I mean? Like being able to make money in an easier way, in a more enjoyable way with the skill sets they already have, and monetize it and figure it out. Like I always used to struggle and be like, well, is this really for me? And then you hear some people that are selling some really weird shit and they're coaching on some really weird things. And you're like, damn, if they can make a business out of this, like you can make a business out of anything. I think if you believe in your product enough and you truly have the passion and the desire to help someone, I think you could sell anything, really.
Yeah.
Right? So being able to show women that they can go through the mud and come out on the other side, and that they can go through it all and still have their dreams come through. True is where I was going with that, and through came out. But anyhow.
Oh my God. It like, we knew that this like conversation, like we didn't really have an agenda of where this was gonna go, but we both kind of like just had faith that this was gonna be freaking awesome. And I think we've hit the mark there. Oh goodness. Well, I think that we're good. Like, I think we've got like,
we covered some bases. We covered some business bases.
Yeah, I think we're.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but you catch my drift. Sometimes I feel like I just start talking and weird words start to come out of my mouth. I just roll with it.
It's all good. It's all good. Oh goodness. Yeah. So should we do like a formal sign off or like just end it?
Maybe just say goodbye. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one, that's for sure.
All right. We will we'll end it here.
Chat with everybody later.
Yeah, sounds fabulous. Actually, why don't we do like Sam, if people want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
Currently, I have my own podcast. It's called Watch or Go. And then over on Instagram at Samantha_Danielle Marie. And then if they want to find me on Facebook, it's the same thing, Samantha Danielle Marie. I currently don't have my website finished. I screwed that up a little bit and realized that they have templates for that stuff. Did you know that? I did not know that when I started. And I've been trying to like piece one together for ages and then came across the fact that there's templates. So we're in the middle of rebuilding that. So currently just the podcast and Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect.
How about you, Leslie?
Well, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook, Leslie's Yoga and Wellness, both the same handle. And then on the Rooted Goddess podcast.
I love that name.
Yeah. Well, I like, it just reminds me to like root down into who you are so that you can like rise up into the goddess that you are.
100%.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, and let me give you a virtual hug, oh, big squeeze, as a token of my appreciation. At the very least, I hope you had some fun while listening, and maybe even learned a thing or two. And bonus points if I got a chuckle out of you. If you liked this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could leave me a 5-star review, or if you know someone who could benefit from listening, share it on your Insta stories and tag me at Leslie's Yoga and Wellness. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date with new episodes. By doing these things, it helps to get my podcast noticed so that people who need to hear my message are more attracted to it. Please feel free to stop by my website, lesliespragg.com, and grab a copy of my free Mom Self-Care Kit, While you're there, grab a free few yoga classes. Namaste, goddesses. Until next time.